Hello, McDonough citizens. I want to speak to you on a variety of subjects. First, I want to talk about the importance of voting. I've learned, and according to the Henry County Board of Elections, less than 25% of our registered voters actually vote in local elections. This is sad because change and leadership, good leadership, starts at the local level and work upwards. Therefore, local level voting is just as important, if not more important, than other elections. I hope that this year we can get more citizens like you to the polls expressing who you want in what particular office. That's important. Also, don't forget this year there's a referendum on the ballot that will let the city of McDonough and Henry County know if you want beer and wine sold on Sundays. Secondly, I want to speak to you regarding some common tactics used by politicians. Unfortunately, this is negative, but I think it's so important that I need to talk about it. I want to warn you of a common form of voter manipulation that often occurs during election time. I like to call it emotional voting. This is done by politicians who work to generate the most powerful emotion called fear within us, which the end result causes you to vote in a particular way. Here's an example. Let's say a particular politician wants you to vote for them. They'll pick controversial and fearful subjects such as crime or race issues, knowing these subjects very well will call an emotional response. These politicians will put out information, or some call them rumors, such as a rash of break-ins and the need for increased patrols or a need for a town hall meeting. And the more worse one, if I would, is saying things about race. If we vote for this particular person, the city will go black, so you can't allow that to happen. That particular type of politics is what hurts the values of our city. But let me tell you how it works, so you can identify it. This particular person will say something bad has happened, and they will call for a particular meeting. Then before you know it, the particular favored candidate is there talking about everything they will do to make you safer. Before you know it, you look around and you're like, yeah, that's the person we want. You have to ask yourself, why now? Why in the 90-day window, the gate of the election? Why in the same year? You should question the timing and the validity of the concern. These people are clever. They will have people there saying, yes, my house was broken into and we all need to come together to solve this. Ask yourself, why now? It's a known fact when you try to put on positive meetings such as town halls or whatever, you have very few attendance. It doesn't mean people don't concern, they're not concerned. It just means that for whatever reason their schedules didn't work, or they may feel that there's something going on with the town hall meeting that's not a concern of theirs. But when you talk about fear and negativity, that will always get people out, and it's a common tactic, and it's, in my book, it's despicable, but it happens, and I want you to be aware of it. Always examine the time and the convenient opportunity presented for the candidate. Have we seen this candidate any time within the last 4 years? Like I said, I'm telling you this because I want you to be able to discern the difference between honesty and manipulative politics. Don't allow yourself to be controlled by those in power who are used to having power and don't want to lose it. Unfortunately, it occurs, and I hope that you will do the right thing. I have to say this as an up-and-coming politician. Unfortunately, not all politics is good politics, and not all politicians are honest. I know that, and you know that. That's why I'm working so hard to get you to see this guy's telling the truth, and that guy would be me. I've always said I believe in good and honest and proactive leadership, lower taxes. I said it in my previous video. I don't like taxes, but I know they're necessary. I've never liked them, and I stand beside people who don't like them, but of course we need them to run the administrative process of the city. I believe in small business support because the small businesses is what make communities grow. It's common sense. It works. I'm not saying that the big companies like, the big companies, department stores are not important, but the small businesses is what bond communities together. We all get to know each other and find out what our strengths and weaknesses are. And we decide that we want to exchange our dollars and our energy and our goodwill with each other. I also support parks, social activities within our downtown area and the square that increase the health, harmony, and welfare of our citizens. I will tell you, I wholeheartedly support the Henry County school system, any school system for that matter, but I do support the school system because they have a unique job, and that is to instill education in the future of our kids to ensure that they are the best citizens that they can be. That's important. It's a no-brainer. We should support them. The third thing I want to talk to you about is elections and power. Now, I did my homework before deciding to run for city council, and I looked at the previous elections, and I'll tell you, something interesting happened here in the city of McDonough. After the November 2005 city council election, the power of the city shifted in such a degree that a series of actions involving the perception, of course, of deals and subdivision growth and other activities caused, in such cases, irreparable impact to our citizens. And in my opinion, it's still going on. I want to represent a shift of power back to the intentions of good folks. I want to support policies that support the people who've lived here, and the insurgency of new people who love McDonough and want to be a part of McDonough and bring good, honest values. Those are the folks that I want to support. I want to support what I know we have, and that is a good mix of people who, by their very nature, believe in judging people by the content of their character and not the color of their skin or their particular policies, or whether or not this person decides to jump on the bandwagon of the status quo. You have your own mind. If you decide to support someone, you do. If you decide not to support someone, that's your right to do so. But don't remove your support of a citizen because they don't support you. You're a taxpayer. You live here. You deserve 100% support from the city like anyone else. I believe I'm the best candidate because I don't have a long history here with a connected family name that may give me privilege or connectivity in such a way that would harm the intended checks and balances of our great city. I will not take bribes, and I absolutely will not undermine the values of our McDonough City Charter. My hands are honest and clean, and will stay that way. My hands are clean. I mean that. I will, however, review and test the elasticity and the intent of our city policies. Do they work? Do we need to improve our functions and processes? Do our current processes support all of our citizens in a positive way? Are we being fair and honest and consistent with the application of our rules toward our citizens? Are we opening our doors to diversity and inclusion to allow our newer citizens to feel welcome and a part of our wonderful city, rather than forcing rules and negatively impacting our citizens to such a degree that they themselves feel unwelcome and uninvited? I'm talking about residents as well as new businesses. Our citizens are better than that. I've met you. I've talked with you. I know that you're better than that. I ask for your vote for City Council on November 8th, 2011. I ask your vote because everything that you've read and heard is true. And when I mean by read is, I'm sure you have read my website. If not, please go to my website. Just Google my name, Elect Swain Thompson. Google or any type of web browser. Read all about me. I want you to. And as I've always said, every vote counts, and I hope to see you at the polls on November 8th, 2011.